Early in the 21st century, mathematician Clive Humby coined a phrase that became a favorite in corporate boardrooms: data is the new oil. There is one truth to that comparison. Just like crude oil sitting in the ground, raw data, the scattered signals of how long a shopper hovers over an item, their nearby Wi-Fi networks, or their abandoned digital shopping carts, is entirely worthless until it goes through a refining process. But here is where the metaphor falls apart. Storing unrefined oil simply wastes warehouse space. Hoarding unrefined data creates a replicating, highly toxic corporate liability that concerns real people and their legal rights. As companies move their computing workloads to decentralized cloud environments, employees often adopt third-party software without corporate IT approval. This unmonitored shadow IT exponentially expands the attack perimeter an organization has to defend. The financial consequences of leaving that expanding perimeter exposed have severe teeth. Under regimes like the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, a breach can trigger regulatory penalties seizing up to 4% of a company's global turnover. Mindlessly collecting vast amounts of information without a strict framework doesn't build wealth. It drains an organization's value by multiplying its exposure to catastrophic breaches. To transform this chaotic liability into an actionable business asset, an organization needs an overarching strategic framework. This is the practice of data governance. The first step is classifying information into a human resources data taxonomy, organizing records into public, internal, and restricted layers. This enables role-based access control. General employees view public names, but only specialized staff, like payroll managers, access the restricted tier containing bank accounts. Once classified, that data requires strict technical guardrails, like encryption protocols and firewalls. This is data security, the mechanical work of guarding digital assets against unauthorized access or alteration. Security supplies the technical means to protect data, while privacy establishes the legal authority to handle it. This ensures that even with perfect defenses, an organization remains accountable for how it treats individual rights and user consent. Refining data is entirely useless without protecting it properly. An enterprise can have flawless technical security, but if they sell user information to a third party without consent, they still commit a devastating privacy violation. In the early 2000s, digital piracy was hollowing out the global music industry. Services moving unverified files freely left artists and record labels entirely unpaid. When Spotify entered the market, they faced a foundational challenge. They had to convince highly wary record labels that their digital streaming counts would be accurate, secure, and immune to tampering. To solve this, Spotify constructed a rigorous governance engine designed to track every single stream, skip, and playlist edition across millions of users with total transparency and auditability. This flowchart illustrates how that mechanism worked. Scattered listening nodes are routed through a secure, central governance engine, converting raw user habits into mathematically verified royalty payouts. At Spotify, rigorous governance acted as the core product. By building a framework that verified every stream, the company earned the trust of global labels and secured the licensing deals that made their business model possible. To build a secure system, a high-level mandate from the board to simply protect our information is not enough. Abstract instructions fail without a formalized mechanism to translate them into daily execution. That translation requires a document hierarchy. It starts at the top with board-approved policies that set mandatory vision. Those dictate specific technical standards written by IT architects to enforce the rules. Further down the cascade are guidelines, which offer advisory best practices. At the very bottom are procedures, which translate the entire structure into granular, step-by-step instructions for employees to follow. For example, Samsung has a mandatory standard requiring complex passwords. That standard yields a highly specific procedure, the exact sequence of menus a user must navigate to set up a biometric lock screen on a Galaxy device. The University of Michigan institutionalizes this exact policy lifecycle across a massive, decentralized organization. They use specialized councils to vet policies before they reach the executive committee, balancing high-level security with the operational agility of individual campus units. When this hierarchy functions correctly, It yields the ultimate triad of a secure enterprise. The organization's information becomes accessible to the right people, auditable for compliance, and legally compliant with global regulations. Ultimately, data derives its strategic value from relentless refinement and unyielding governance. It is a socio-technical resource, one that rewards organizations that master the intersection of technology, human behavior, and the law.